Hey guys, today I'm filming a chit chat get ready with me using the Anastasia Master Palette by Maria. My amazing friend Christine sent this to me a couple months back, and I decided not to do an entire palette of the month review video on this because you can't get it anymore, but I did want to show you guys a look using it and give you my thoughts. So I will have a little mini review at the end. If you guys are unfamiliar with this palette, this is what it looks like. Such amazing, beautiful shades for the fall time. And as with all of my chit chat get ready with me, it is going to be a full face. And also in this video, which I'm really excited about, I'm going to be doing a first impression testing out the new Real Techniques oval brushes. I purchased the foundation brush. I've never used an oval brush before, so we'll see how this goes. This was kind of pricey for a Real Techniques brush, but it feels very dense, very soft. I'm a little nervous about this because I usually use a sponge, but we'll see. I'm excited to try it out, and I wanted to get my initial impressions on camera with you guys. So just jumping into the look, I am going to be taking a little bit of the Lorac Porefection Mattifying Face Primer. I just have it squeezed into this little jar so it's easier to basically store my monthly makeup basket. Then I'm going to be taking the Smashbox PhotoFinish Pore Minimizing Primer and applying this into my large pores. This is my favorite pore filling primer. I just finished up a Benefit Porefessional sample, so I was really excited to start using this again because I like this one better than the Benefit. So just pressing it between my fingers, and then I'm going to press it into my large pores and then sweep over it towards the outside of my face. For foundation, I am mixing together the Hard Candy Glamoflague in the shade Porcelain with the shade Fair. This is all that I have left of the shade. Fair is just what's in this little sample jar, but I'm trying to get that all used up. All right, so here we go. This is fresh, never been used. I don't even know, like, do you hold it like this? Oh my gosh, okay. All right, well, I tried to do this like you do with a sponge. That did not work. Well, it is blending pretty easy with this brush, and it doesn't look streaky, which is impressive, but it is a fresh brush. Usually, if I don't wash my foundation brushes often enough, that's when it looks streaky. I don't necessarily think it's giving more coverage though, and usually I have more coverage with a brush than I do with a sponge. And maybe this would be better if I sprayed it with a little bit of Fix Plus. It might glide onto the skin a little bit easier. I don't know how this would work for people that have really dry skin, unless you're using like a really moisturizing foundation. So no foundation, one layer with this brush. I don't think it soaked up a ton of product, which is nice, but I don't know. This is hard as rock. Like, it's soft, but it's so dense. So, okay, 2 layers of foundation versus no foundation. I feel like it doesn't have as much coverage as it usually does. All right, so there's 2 layers of foundation applied all over. I think it applied well. It blended out nicely. I don't have any streaking at all. The coverage is buildable when I use it with a brush. I think it's just such a different method of application that I'm used to, and I need to test it out more. So now for some under eye corrector, I'm using my NYX HD Concealer in the shade number 2 Fair, which has a very peachy undertone, and I couldn't really use it to just conceal, so because I already have it, I'm just deciding to use it as a corrector, which works well because I don't have a ton of darkness under my eyes. So I think I can definitely use it up this way. And I'll just blend it out with my little mini Real Techniques eraser sponge. And it's so quick and easy this way. And then for my under eye concealer, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. This is literally all I have left. But this is so pigmented that this little bit is gonna actually probably last me another week or so. So I'm just gonna take this in an upside down triangle under my eye. I know you're supposed to use your ring finger because it's the most gentle, but I just always end up using my middle finger. And the nail on my middle finger is pretty short right now, so that makes it even easier to use this one. To set my under eyes, I'm going to be using my NYX HD Finishing Powder in a translucent shade, and I'm going to apply it with my Morphe E48 brush. And just press that into my skin. Take a little bit on my lid. And then I'm going to be using two new face powders, the Maybelline Fit Me Loose and the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin. And I've only been using these for a couple of days, but I'm very excited to use them more. So starting with the loose powder, this is in the shade number 5 Fair, which is the lightest shade. And so far it seems to be like a good color match. I'm just going to take this RC Cosmetics Angled Flat Top Kabuki brush, which is a dupe for some of the Sigma brushes. And I am just going to set, so then using the Maybelline Better Skin powder in the shade number 10 Porcelain, which I thought would be too dark for me, but it actually works out quite well. And I'm going to apply it with my very large Real Techniques powder brush. And I am just going to apply a little bit of this all over my face to make sure everything is set. So complexion's all done. Moving on to the cheeks, I am using the MAC Sculpting powder in the shade Sculpt as my bronzer and applying it with my e.l.f. stippling brush. I am liking this more. At first I wasn't sure if it would be nice as a bronzer, but I think it works. It's definitely not my favorite, but I want to use it up, and it works well enough. And I do think that the undertones of this work well for what I like in the fall. But it is really pigmented, so I just have to be careful and make sure that my skin is set properly, or else it's just like big blocks of brown that I can't blend out. Then I'm taking the Balm's Bahama Mama Bronzer. I'm going to be using this as my contour and applying it with my Sigma F05 small contour brush. Applying this in the hollow of my cheeks, blending back and forth. For blush, I'm using the MAC Mineralize blush in the shade Warm Soul, applying it with this Walmart HD Angled Blush Brush. This is just a nice, light, shimmery, peachy nude. I'm just going to put this on the back part of my cheeks. Don't worry, we'll blend it out. And then I'm going to highlight with the Balm Mary LouManizer and my Morphe M501 brush. Just picking up a decent amount of this, applying it just to the top of my cheekbones. I've told you guys a bunch of times before, because I'm oily, I don't take this down the center of my face. The last thing I need is to look more greasy. Okay, for brows, I'm gonna start by taking my Sonia Kashuk Spoolie and just combing through my brows. I just tweezed this one a little bit yesterday because I noticed that this brow was looking a lot thicker, so hopefully I fixed that a little bit. I am no brow expert though. And the brow product I've been using recently when I'm filming is the e.l.f. Brow Pomade in Blonde. This is something that I have in my declutter pile actually, but I don't really have any blonde friends to give it to. So I started seeing if this is a new pomade I want to try to work with, and I don't know. It's really creamy, almost kind of gummy. I'm going to apply it with my NYX. It's rubbed off. I think it's like a B22 angled liner brush. I don't know if they make this anymore, but I don't know. I feel like I need to keep the lid off and let it dry out. You won't be able to see, but it looks like it's kind of gummy. I don't know. The consistency is weird. Like, it's super wet, and I've had this for like 2 years or something. So the cap is a mess, but wiping off some of the products in the cap is an absolute necessity. I don't remember it being this freaking wet when I first used it. Maybe I just wasn't really paying that much attention. So I am going to start by underlining my brow and then filling in the tail. This is super pigmented too. And then moving towards the front of my brow. And then whatever is left, just go through the center. Looks so dark. I don't know. I don't think I like this. I think I'll end up trashing it, but I wanted to see what you guys think. Moving on to eyeshadow, I'm using my Milani eyeshadow primer. Did the formula of this change? This feels so much more thin, creamy, and wet than before. So then I'm going to take the ColourPop Yes Please palette in the shade Full Zip, which is just a matte cream, and I'm going to apply it in my crease and on my brow bone area to set my primer with the Wet n Wild blending brush. I think that's what it's called. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the names on it. this is a really awesome matte cream. And basically I know all matte creams are the same, but instead of going out and buying my Wet n Wild Brulee, I'm going to try to work through the other cream shades I have in all of my palettes. For my transition color, I'm taking Note to Self, which is in the Yes Please palette, but this is the other individual shadow that you can buy. It's a really great light, warm tan shade, and I'm going to apply it as my transition color with my Sigma E40 taper blending brush. Oh my gosh, literally all of the writing is gone off of this, which is so funny. So just taking a little bit of this and working it right above my crease in small circular motions and windshield wiper motions to really buff it out. And then I'm going to take a cream base on my lid. What I found when using this palette is with all of these shimmer shades, you absolutely do need a cream base underneath to really make the pigment stick on your eye and be more intense. If you don't use a base, it's going to end up looking a little bit more dull, and the color is not going to just stay on your eye, is something that I've noticed, which isn't unique to this palette. I've found that with my other Anastasia palettes as well, but I use cream bases all the time, so that's not a big deal to me at all, but I did want to let you know that. So for my cream base, I'm going to be taking the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in the shade Rose Gold, and I am just going to apply this right on to my lid. For my Mario palette, I'm going to be taking the shade Fifth Avenue, which is a beautiful shimmery gold, and I'm going to apply that on my lid with my MAC 239 flat shader brush. This is a beautiful gold that isn't too yellow, which I really like, and I am just pressing this on the lid over that base. And you guys, the base intensifies this lid color so much, makes it even more metallic and lasts longer. It's just incredible. And it's not that this base is special, it's just that a base in general, like, you need more than just a regular primer. Then for my crease color, I'm taking my favorite shade from this palette, Isabel, a beautiful matte brownie orange color. This is similar to Burnt Orange from the Modern Renaissance palette, except this is a little bit deeper and more orange. And I'm going to be applying it in my crease with my Morphe R39 brush. This is a very, very pigmented color, so just picking up a little bit of this and focusing more on the outer corner here, and then taking what's left on this inner part and then blending back and forth, working up towards that transition color. And that's it for shadow. I'm keeping it super simple, but I'm going to go in with full zip over here. Just that matte cream again from ColourPop and my Sigma E45 small taper blending brush, and I'm just going to clean up the outer edge of this shadow. So I'm going to do my other eye, my eyeliner, and mascara, and be back to show you what's going on my lips. So here are the eyes all complete. I decided to go without liner. I haven't been wearing liner for the past couple months, except for a random occasion here or there, and I'm having a really hard time making my wings even, so I figured I would save myself the trouble and just skip it. So I went with just mascara. I'm using the Maybelline Colossal Cat Eyes for length and the Maybelline Falsies for volume, which is my favorite combination. So for lips, I'm going to do a lip liner and a liquid lipstick. For liner, I'm using ColourPop Bound, which is a warm tone mauve, and I'm just going to be using this to line my lips. And for my liquid lip, I'm going to be using the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Allison. You see how bright it looks in here? Wait till you see how it looks on my lips. Basically, I want to test this out a couple more times to see if I like this color. It isn't the shade that I remembered getting the first time, but I don't know. I want to see if I like this color on me, and I thought it would go well with this makeup look, so you guys let me know. So Anastasia changed the applicator on the liquid lipsticks. Now it is a flat double-sided paddle sponge applicator. I don't know if I like that for liquid lipstick, especially if you have small lips. This might be a little overwhelming, so let's see. So here is what that liquid lip looks like. I'm not sure. Obviously it looks very different. This is a lot brighter and more pink, and this almost has more red to it. I don't know. Let me know, do you like the way that this looks? I love the Anastasia liquid lip formula. It's really nice and moussey. It does dry down completely, but it isn't too dry. I don't know. I don't know what I think of this color. I'm going to wear this makeup throughout the day so I can come to a final decision whether I want to keep this shade or return it. I just don't know. So this is my final look, and to give you a little mini review on the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario. So you get 12 shades in this palette, which is 2 more than the Tomato palette, but 2 less than the Mono Renaissance palette, which is fine. I think this is a great amount of different shadows to have in a palette. And you have mostly all shimmers except for these 3 mattes. I love Isabelle. It's definitely my favorite shade in the palette, but these 2 other mattes I don't know. So this one, Lula, right here, is like a gray tone brown. This could be a really nice brow color for someone with like light, cool tone brown brows. That could be a nice shade. It could work as a contour, but for some reason on my eyes, it's not the Anastasia shadow. It's this color of shadow I think looks funny, and I think that this cool tone brown would work well with these 4 shadows right here, but the rest of this palette is pretty warm. But that one could go with those, but for some reason that kind of a shade looks super muddy on me no matter what brand it's from. It's just that color that doesn't work on me. And then Violetta is a deep warm brown, which is pretty, but it's just a color I'm not going to use. You guys know I don't use really dark browns or blacks. So I am pulling from other palettes. Like today I use the ColourPop Yes Please palette for a lighter transition shade, and then use Isabelle in the crease, which is fine with me because, as I said, I love this shade, and it's very rare that I have an all-in-one palette, and I don't mind having to reach for basics outside of the palette if inside the palette is a lot more fun shades, and that's what I feel like we have in here. I don't need a matte cream in every single palette because I have ones that I like. If you guys need a matte cream, get Wet n Wild Brûlée. I would much rather have a different kind of color here. So I'm very happy with the shades that are in here. Like I said, this is kind of odd to me, even though I know it makes sense with these 4 shades. I don't use dark brown, but I love this one. And I love that there are so many shimmers in this palette. All of these look beautiful on the lid. These are very, very creamy. They're super pigmented. They are very nice and metallic. But as I said in the demo, with these shimmery shades, you absolutely need a cream base underneath of them. Not just a primer, but a cream base underneath if you want these shadows to be very vibrant and have the pigment actually stick to your eye and not blend away and leave the finished look dull. I think that is absolutely essential. I found that with my Anastasia Tomato palette as well, and I don't necessarily think that is a negative because I use cream bases with all of my shadows except for ColourPop Super Shocks. But with everything else, I use a cream base, so for me that's not a big deal. But I'm so thankful to my amazing friend Christine for sending me this palette. I need to look up more tutorials using this so I can come up with more different looks, but I think it is beautiful. A lot of amazing shimmery shades that are perfect for fall, and I would love to know your favorite color combos using this palette in a comment down below. But I'm so happy I finally have this. I think the quality is fantastic and I love all of the shades. So guys, that was my chit chat get ready with me using the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario, and I would also love to know your thoughts if you tried out any of these Real Techniques oval brushes. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.